does that say? It's backwards. Spray paint effects and high flow, take 17. Action.
Here we go. Yay! God, I can't make this up. High flow acrylics. Imagine this missing because we weren't prepared enough to bring one without it. It comes with a little pointy tip on top that you can
squeeze out like glue.
Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. And what we did was we took a replacement mister and stuck it in here. Now you'll notice that the pickup tube on the mister is a little teeny bit longer than the length of that bottle. So grab a pair of scissors or a utility knife and just take a little bit off at the end. Or you can just push it all the way in and it kind of curves toward the bottom. But what you do is you convert high flow acrylics, which are meant to be used in an airbrush, so they are meant to be spritzed. And you convert these bottles to misters. And when you use these, and you'll see when Elizabeth and I are playing with them, when you spritz them on the gel plate, it looks very much, it looks very much like you had a can of aerosol without all of the, the disadvantages of trying to spray aerosols in the house. And with 48 colors in this line, you have 48 possibilities.
Yeah, I really like the spray paint effect that it gives because it's a whole different application. And I do like spray paint through stencils, but I don't like dealing with the breathing of it and the smelliness of it. So this is kind of fun. You can do it right in the house. It created a really neat, speckly, kind of not all over effect because we sprayed it and didn't brayer it out on the plate. So you get a random effect and a sprayed effect, and I love the way it came out, especially with the metallics.
Yeah, well, and this, so you're going to see me create another version with a different stencil that didn't turn out super well, but this is part of the whole process when you experiment. I didn't have enough contrast between the color I picked up this gold with, and it clearly works much better with black. I could have taken a dark blue. I mean, there's other things that I could have done, but it's good for you to see that we're not successful with every print we make.
I am. You're not.
Oh, good to know. Thank you. And once again, tire tracks right down the front of my chest.
You say that in almost every video.
That's because you throw me under the bus in almost every video. But this is actually pretty amazing. You can't get this effect any other way. You can't make you can't roll this on, you can't apply this in any other way than to spritz it and get this effect. Now, there are other products that you could do this with. There's all kinds of spray inks and those kind of things, but they're not permanent. So when you go to put paint over the top of them, they have a tendency to lift.
Right.
Whereas this, once it dries on the plate, you have to either scrub it off or use a pickup print, which is what I'm going to do, to get it off. Elizabeth's process is a little bit different. Mine is the really dumb blonde version. Yeah. So, but what she's going to do is this is very simple. These are far more complicated looking that aren't actually complicated to do. That's right. The beauty of it. I mean, you spent some time and played around with this and found a system that works. I just went for the easy thing.
The easy thing. So this is true, but it does depend. The contrast is very important. Mm-hmm. So if you want your gold spritz to show up, say you're using gold, you have to, that's a very light color. So it has to be against a significantly darker color. So that's when your color theory comes into play. But you really just need to think about, okay, I'm spraying gold or I'm spraying bronze. So what I have behind that color needs to be significantly darker, not just a little, but you got to have more high contrast. And you'll figure that out while you're experimenting, but just keeping that in mind, right?
And I had it in mind, I just simply didn't mix my colors dark enough. And that's part of the give and take when you do anything. You got to be willing to say, oh, that didn't work. How can I make this better? And that is part of this whole process.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, shall we go do some process?
All right, let's go mess around with it.
All right.
All right. So I am so excited about using this golden high flow paint in sort of a spray paint, spritzy kind of an effect through the stencil on the gel plate. So one thing you need to know about high flow is that it's meant to be shaken. It has a bead, a ball in there like nail polish that you want to make sure is moving around freely before you use it because it will settle. Unlike fluid acrylics that are not meant to be shaken, you definitely want to shake up the high flow. We've got the spray bottle nozzle in here, and I have to reiterate that it's really important that you spritz this with water and keep that nozzle clean, because if the acrylic paint dries in there, it's going to clog the whole thing. So Barb will show you, she typically sprays this with water and floods it in there and gets it clean. I think also it might help to have a little water in the lid when you put it on.
I think you're right. The other thing too is that when you're done at the end of the day, you've been really diligent about cleaning that orifice as you go along. Take the bottle, the spritzer out of the bottle, put the regular cap back on, and flush that with water. That way you're very much assured that it is not going to be clogged the next time you go to do it because you cleaned it.
Yeah, you have to take good care of it. But having a little bit of water, I think condensated in the cap also keeps it from drying out. But you want to be mindful of that, because we don't want you to purchase the sprayers and then have them get clogged. But the acrylic, that's the nature of it. It dries and it's a plastic polymer base, so it's going to clog things if it dries in there. Okay, that's our disclaimer. So that's the high flow iridescent bronze. Then the other two colors that I'm going to be using are burnt sienna and Van Dyke brown. So this was the test print, and we really love this color combination. So we have the stencil pattern ghost print in the dark, and then the sprayed high flow bronze, and then the teal. So I thought for the demo I would try a different color combo, since you can already see and appreciate this, and the way that the bronze high flow really has sort of a spray paint effect, a spritzed and sprayed effect. So this one is beautiful, and the next one I wanted to make sort of more of an earth tone. So this, by the way, is the Doodle stencil from the Klimt Scribbles and Doodles collection of stencils. And the one I'm going to use for this demo is called the Spiral Doodle from the same collection. So I've already got myself a sheet of this burnt sienna. So I've done a solid sheet of burnt sienna. It's dry, and I have this set off to the side. You want to do this first, okay? Just a solid sheet. Then we're going to do the ghost print of the Spiral Doodle with the Van Dyke brown. So when I am relying on a ghost print, I try to remember to put out extra paint, because some of the paint is going to adhere to the back of the stencil in the time that it takes us to spray the high flow. So it'll remove some of that paint. So you just want to go with a slightly heavier application when you are using the ghost print. You're more likely to have good coverage. And sometimes it depends on the pigment color that you're using as well. So we'll cross our fingers that this works out. Okay, so we're going to put that down into the Van Dyke brown, and I only want the ghost print. So I'm going to use a wet strength tissue to take the paint out of the negative spaces. And I like this because I can see right through it where I am. And the idea is to get all the paint out of the negative spaces, so you're left with openings for the high flow spray and a nice ghost print of this pattern. So we might have to do this more than once. But the nice thing about putting it on the wet strength tissue is that I can use this as an overlay in collage mixed media for something else on a tissue overlay. So I'll grab another piece and just get the rest of it out. And like I said, these make great overlays when you glue the tissue down and it disappears and you're left with just the spirals in your mixed media. So we're not, whoops, letting anything go to waste. Okay, so now I have cleaned the paint out of the negative spaces on the plate. And the next step is to take the iridescent bronze and to spray it. Now, I don't want to broadcast it evenly. I was kind of hoping to give like areas of more concentrated and less concentrated, but you can play around with how you apply it. So that was a heavy blast, and if I back it up, I'm going to get a lighter spray. So if you want a more spritzy effect, or if you want a more solid effect, but you want to leave some spaces in between. I don't want to cover the whole thing, but I do want to get that spritz effect. Okay, so now I have some denser areas and some less dense areas. Then I'm going to lift this up, the stencil.
Looks pretty good already.
It does, to reveal that Van Dyke brown ghost print underneath and the spritz. And again, I'm coming back in with my prepared solid, and I'm gonna print. Now, because we're using the heavy body paints, it does give us more time to pull the print because they're just a little thicker and they're wet for a little bit longer. So I'm using my red Baron here to get pressure all out to the edges, and because this paint takes a little bit longer to set up, it's good to give it a couple of minutes before you pull it. So you got to be patient because we want to make sure that it picks up all that Van Dyke brown. So we'll give it a second.
Go check our email.
Check your email, get a cup of coffee, take a walk, scream into a pillow.
Sure. Any or all of those things. I like to scream into a pillow.
Yeah.
That has an attractive sound for me.
It's a good stress reliever.
Yeah.
Yeah, scream into a pillow.
Can I just scream in case I don't have a pillow nearby?
You could, but your neighbor might come.
No.
All right, let's see. Okay. Didn't take too long.
That's awesome.
Look at that. The big reveal. I do like this color combo. It's very warm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And you still get the effect. I like the fact that it looks like we applied that high flow acrylic from a spray can.
Yeah.
I think that is the real significant difference by using them as a spray.
Yes, and so, I mean, I love the spray effect of spray paint, but I certainly wouldn't use spray paint indoors, and even outdoors. It can be, what do you call it, a breathing hazard. So this, not being aerosol is great and gives you that sprayed effect. That's beautiful.
It's really nice.
I must say, I really like that.
Very different from the other one. Obviously just as attractive, but in a completely different way.
Yeah, so you got two
look at that.
Totally different color palettes, and the iridescent colors. This is the iridescent bronze, but there's also gold and there's also silver, and
I think there's an iridescent copper too.
And a copper, sure. So you can mess with those metallic colors in combination with lots of other colors. But just remember, you want to make your ghost print dark, and then your sheet that you pull it with needs to be lighter than the ghost print. So you have that contrast. You have to have enough contrast. This one is more contrasty. This one is a little softer, but it's like Barb said, they're both beautiful in their own way. So, but it's definitely the spritz spray effect that I appreciate out of the application of the high flow through the spray nozzle.
I'm going to show you a simpler version that was my approach to this. Elizabeth went with more layers and a little bit more deliberation, and I took the lazy way out, and I just used one stencil and spritzed over it and didn't do all of the things that she did. I love what she did, but I'm lazy, so I'm choosing to find a little bit simpler method, and this one worked for me. So this was the first one that I did, and I sprayed through the pinwheel stencil, and you can see this one I'm using is the golden high flow iridescent gold deep. But there's not enough contrast here between the pink and the metallic. So I came in and I did it with a different stencil in black, and this works much better. So if you wanted to go a little bit more elaborate and see all of that incredible detail in layers, then use Elizabeth's technique. And if you're feeling a little bit lazy, then you can give this one a try. So what I'm gonna do is use the same iridescent gold deep, but I'm going to, rather than this pink, which was the one that I used that didn't have enough contrast, I'm gonna mix these two together on the plate and see what happens. So what I didn't think of, as Elizabeth and I were preparing for this, is that I'm gonna spray this on, and then we're gonna have to break for a couple of minutes. This has to be dry before I pick up the print. So that's what we'll do. I'm gonna spritz this on, I'm gonna shake, 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 and let the mixing ball do its thing. This again is Pinwheels. This of the Klimt Scribbles and Doodles. This is my favorite, which is why I chose it. So I'm gonna go kind of with more of an all over spray pattern. I like the fact, as Elizabeth said, this looks like you used an aerosol spray can when you do it this way. You can't brayer this on to get this effect. I don't know how else you would get this effect. So that's what I did. I'm gonna just take 1 second and I'm gonna spritz that, grab a paper towel and just dry it off. And then I'm gonna lift this up, I'll put the cap back on. And so for a minute, we're gonna have to give this some time to dry, because in order to effectively pick up what's on the plate, it's gotta be completely dry. So we'll wait and then we'll be back. it's taken a few minutes, but this is now all dry. And Elizabeth and I were kind of talking while we were waiting for that to happen. And one of the things that we kind of realized as we were jawing through it was that I could have printed this while this was wet, but the pressure would have, even though these are really tiny dots, would probably have caused them to bloom and spread a little bit. So by letting it dry and treating this as a pickup print, it really allows you to maintain all of that little tiny spray pattern. So that's that. So again, we have these two colors. I'm gonna put these out on the plate, trying to keep in mind that I don't want to overdo it, because with a pickup print, you don't want too much paint. So let's mix this up and see how it goes. All right, get that out of there. Okay, so let's use the brayer. And the other thing too is I can mix this paint because it's the high flow is dry, and it's not going to, let's brayer some of this off. It's not going to disturb what's under there. If I tried to mix the other way, it probably would. I want to add a little bit more of this. I don't think that's quite dark enough, and we do need more contrast. All right, let's try this again. All right. So this is going to be too much paint to effectively pick up, so I will have to brayer a chunk of this off, but that's okay. At least now I have the color that I'm a little bit happier with. All right, and you see how you can see the faint outline of pinwheel through that? And that generally means that the paint is a light enough layer to allow the pickup print to happen. So the clue, the key here is patience, says the girl who has none. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna massage this on there, and the more paint you put on, the longer it takes for the pickup process to happen. So that is another reason why you want to not add so darn much paint. So we're gonna have to give this a moment or two or three and let it do its thing, because if you try to pick it up too soon, I'll just pick up the pink and there'll be none of the high flow gold under it. Okay, so it's coming up, and there really isn't enough contrast. The black is a much better choice, and I didn't do a particularly good job mixing this. The other thing too is I think if I had sprayed my high flow heavier, there would be more gold to contrast with the pink. Not that this is awful, but this is what happens. Sometimes it takes more than one attempt to get exactly what you're looking for. So I can see that, but certainly this is much more dramatic. It's much more in your face, but the technique works. You just have to make certain that you have enough contrast. So high flow acrylics are pretty amazing when you use them and you put a spray nozzle on them, because now it's like having an aerosol without all of the stuff that goes along with using an aerosol. Yeah, well, I mean, I can do this again because it's been this kind of day.
That's Barb's tired face.
And it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's my tired face. The clock hasn't been moved ahead.
I think it's 1 o'clock.
No, the clock hasn't been moved ahead. I just keep forgetting to fix it.
How does anybody live like that?
I don't know. I need to know the time at all times.
Right.
I must be focused on the time.
Be focused. Yes. Well, I wanted to say though, we played with metallics in the spray, but there's a bazillion colors that you can also play with, non-iridescent, for the same effect, but with different color combos.
Absolutely. I think there are 48 colors in the high flow line, or 42, something like that. You have a wealth of them to choose from. So get some misters and stick them in there and start spraying around.
Yeah, spray some purple, spray some green, try white over black. I mean, all kinds of different things.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. We'll see you back here next week.
Bye.